head north to the Black Sea. It's a first. I didn't think GPS was going to take me here, but hey, it all worked out. Can't drive across it. Might as well boat ride it. Behind me is the Black Sea. I'm here in northeast Turkey in Trabzon. But next to the Black Sea, beautiful Trabzon. And across the Black Sea, currently, right across is Russia, Crimea, which was annexed by the Russians in 2014. And there's currently Ukraine and the Russian war going on over there. All throughout Ukraine. You got Russians in Ukraine that identify with Russia in the Donbass region. And then you got more towards the Kyiv region, a lot of Ukrainians that feel they're more westernized, more European. So the split up population and is a great opportunity for political powers to jump in and divide. And so there is a Russian-Ukrainian war. Not black and white, very gray. I'm not going to sit here and say which side I think is right or wrong. All I say is I wish that everyone is safe on both sides and that I wish the war would stop. Much like how history repeats itself, here in Trabzon, today we're about an hour drive from here. We're going to the Million Monastery, which was also affected by abandonment due to politics in the 1920s when the Greek Turkish population exchange happened. When the Turkish country was formed after the fall of the Ottoman Empire, where overnight Turkish and Greek refugees crossed borders due to religious divides, being Christian and Muslim. History repeats itself. So today, instead of going that direction, we're going back into history, this direction. Also, I've been kind of hanging out here in the Ferris Suite. Got a nice little studio, very cheap, and little kitchen. I've been just resting. I've been traveling for about a month. I think yesterday was officially a month since I left America. Well, actually, a month and a day since I left America, a month since I arrived in Turkey. So, just rested up, got some sleep, shaved, healed my sunburn from last episode hiking Mount Nemrut. And by the way, look at these cool, they got these cool green like mosaic buildings around here. Absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I love the style here. I love the vibe here too. The Black Sea vibe, I guess. But yeah, so I had a 10-hour drive from Mount Nemrut to here during a storm, as you can see in some of this footage. The drive was hectic. I was in my little Kia. press the brakes on certain mountains and I would just slide down. Certain points, I literally was on top of a mountain, just mountains as far as the eye could see, covered in white powder. And I was trying to drive through snow in my little Kia, and sometimes on the road there'd be a pile of snow and I'd have to floor it to get through it, and it was a bit sketchy. So I decided to post up here, kind of let the storm pass, hopefully, because of this crazy Turkish winter this year that keeps going and going. One of the record-breaking winters, I think. So yeah, it was quite the 10-hour journey to get here. And yeah, just been resting, shaved, healed my sunburn. I'm not all swollen like a tomato anymore, a little bit, not too much. And yeah, ready to check out the sites and then keep moving down the road. So let's go check out the beautiful Kaymaklı Monastery, which is a monastery built on a cliff. And we're gonna head there now. By the way, I have no idea. Oh, look at my combed hair. By the way, I just combed my hair. First time in a month. I finally bought a comb. I lost mine in Istanbul when I first started this trip. But anyways, I have no idea how to drive in Turkey. All I know is, like right now, all I know is when the coast is clear, I go. And when it's not clear, I kind of stop and sometimes go. I like how they drive. It's crazy. Fits my style. I feel like I get where I want to go faster. Sometimes it's a little sketch of people cutting you off and stuff, but yeah, I literally have no idea how to drive here. I'm sure I'm making tons of mistakes. People like to honk a lot, and I dig it. I have fun driving. I think the roads are amazing, and yeah, I prefer it better than American driving because I get where I need to get going, and if you cut someone off, it's all good because everyone cuts each other off. So need to cross 3 lanes, go for it. But have no idea what I'm doing. Driving in Turkey is awesome, by the way. All right, just thought I would share. Well, just got to the gate, about an hour drive, and they said it was closed for restorations, which is weird because it's freak snow everywhere. I don't know how they're going to restore in the winter, but so is life. So they said I could just go to the outside and take a picture, but I had to pay for that. But I really want to go inside and check out the mosaics. That's kind of why I came here. You could look at the outside of it online. I guess you can look at the mosaics online too, but I like to be up close and personal. So that's a change of plans. So we're headed back down the mountain, and yeah, I don't know what to do. Well, so since we couldn't go to the monastery since it was closed, I found a little Armenian church behind me, a very old church. And oh, there's puppies. Gotta love puppies. But anyways, let's check out the Armenian church. There's supposed to be some paintings inside. So let's get in there and take a look around. That actually worked pretty good. Nice little holes here to fit the camera and the selfie stick in. I tell you what, I got the iPhone 13. It's amazing for dark spaces. It really sees better than my eyes many times. But yeah, some cool frescoes in there. I really like to see them up close and personal, but I thought the camera got it pretty good. But yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna climb in one of those holes, and then how I'm gonna get back out once I jump down. There's also a ping pong table in there, so Armenians like to play ping pong apparently. Well, shit. It's all locked up. We're striking out. Man, I keep striking out. I don't know what the deal is, but I have been having the worst luck getting into these places. They're just locked up. No sign, nothing. This place even looks like it might be, someone might live on this property. I guess I could crawl through there. I don't know how I'm gonna get up there. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. I think the history of this, I don't know too much about it, but I think they're even kind of confused at the history, but it was an Armenian church or Armenian monastery, I guess. And it apparently has paintings on the inside, and it's really off the beaten track. It's just, you'll find it on Google Maps. If you just type in Armenian church, it should come up in Trabzon. But I mean, you can look, there's rubbish everywhere. Looks like someone's living on this property. No one's came out and yelled at me yet. If you know anything about Turkey, there's a long history of Armenian prejudice with the Armenian Genocide, where I think 1.5 million Armenians in the Christian faith were forced on death marches to Syria. So this was the first Armenian church I've seen, and I think it's always important to remember every country has its good and bad, and I believe in the early 1900s is when that happened, the Armenian Genocide, and it's a tragic event that doesn't get much publicity, and not as many people know it as, say, the Jewish genocide of World War II. But before that, there was Armenian Genocide, and I think more people should know about it, including myself. So after talking to a friend who's Armenian, kind of struck a nerve, so I decided to audible and go for this church since we couldn't go for the monastery. But pretty cool church. I love old stuff. This little guy doesn't have a gate. This little tiny church. Wow, look at this. This must be Armenian writing. I don't know. I don't know Armenian writing, but I'm assuming this is Armenian writing. I think it's the first time I've ever seen it. Now we're talking. Small church, but we can see some frescoes a bit. Very tiny. I love stuff like this. I love walking into history, basically. It's a time machine. This is a time machine. I'm inside a freaking time machine. Sorry, I get way too excited. And a lovely shovel. Maybe we could dig our way under the big church and get inside there. Wow, that's cool. Look at that. Man, these old churches are so awesome. I mean, this is tiny. You could fit like maybe like 4 or 5 people in here. 3 Americans tops, though. Wow. Oh. Hoping someone comes out and has a key and lets me in here. I don't think it's gonna happen. It's pretty quiet. It's also pretty early, and Turkish people get started a little later than us Americans, I believe. Although I get started late myself. I think I might be Turkish. But man, I want to give a big shout out to J-Lo, my friend J-Lo. She was saying, I know you're in Turkey, and I have this bittersweet feelings every time I see your pictures on Instagram and stuff, because I know what my grandparents went through, or my great-grandparents went through over there. And when I was starting this episode, I was going to talk about the Turkish Greek population exchange of Muslims from Greece to Turkey, and Turkey Christians sent to Greece. They're going to transfer them, which was crazy because it was forced. It was forced overnight. They were refugees, and the international community after World War I thought that they would stop the bloodshed between Muslims and Christians and the different religious groups. Although they lived pretty peaceful for the most part under the Ottoman Empire, but when things went to shit after World War I, apparently there was some problems, but they were forced just to go to a different country they'd never been to. Hey, Christians, you go over there. Hey, Muslims, you go over there. It'd be like kind of like the Russian-Ukraine problem. Like, hey, all you Russians, you guys need to go to Russia, and anyone Ukrainian or on that side, you come to Ukraine. So it is a bit of a complicated situation, but imagine just because you go somewhere, it's like people say, illegal immigrants in the United States, some of them have been there since a kid, their whole lives. Take them, drop them in Mexico. They are a foreigner in that country. They're not, just because they're Mexican doesn't mean they're at home in Mexico, Where you're born, the land you're on, the people, the customs, it's different every area. And if you're used to that, bee. Sorry, there's a bee on my phone and I'm allergic to bees. But if there was if you just moved them, it's like taking someone, just dropping them off on Mars. It's a different place, a different culture. Even the speaking's different, a bit of slang and stuff like that. So that's what this episode is going to be about. But it's now kind of turning into an Armenian episode. The Armenian Genocide. The Armenian folks in Anatolia were all over, and they got rid of 1.5 million of them. Marched them straight to Syria, most of them dying. Not most of them, but a lot of them dying, I believe. I shouldn't speak on it because I don't know too much. I was planning on doing an Armenian episode, but this kind of just came about because the monastery was closed due to renovation, so I just ended up here. And talking to my friend J-Lo last night, she talked about crazy stories like her I believe it was her great-grandpa or something like that, crawled out of a grave, like a big mass grave, literally crawled out of it, and just horrific things. And her grandma used to tell crazy stories, and yeah, just sad, hard times. I mean, I know we're going through hard times right now, but I really don't think we understand what true hard times are like. That's why I think it's important to be thankful for what you have and not what you don't have, because it could always be worse. I mean, we got to make sure it doesn't go back there, but history repeats itself, I know, but I think we have been pretty fortunate with COVID and everything. I mean, I've never been marched out of my home into the middle of the desert. Maybe some of you have, I don't know. From around the world, maybe people have experienced this today. But yeah, it's sad, it's crazy, and Turkey's such a great place. The country of Turkey is amazing, how it's developed and what it did for the people here, but it's also, like most countries, has a dark side, and I think it's important to remember that. But at the same time, I don't think the Turkish government recognizes the Armenian genocide as an error, as a fault, from what I read. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Again, I'm speaking a little bit out of my lane here, but just some thoughts I'm having here while walking around. well, I think that's it for here. Can't get in. No one's coming to my rescue to let me in. So I think I'm gonna take the long drive, about a 8-9 hour drive from Trabzon to Ankara. We're gonna stay there for a couple nights, slowly make our way back to Istanbul. And oh look, there's an old wall back there too. Old stuff's everywhere. And yeah, we're gonna head out. I don't know if that's it for this episode. I'm not sure. This is kind of a random one. Kind of had to piece together. Not what I planned and researched for, but hey, that's part of traveling. And look, my lips are not swollen. My face is not sunburnt anymore. I'm feeling good, feeling rested. Got a lot of rest in Trabzon. Stayed in a nice little studio, very cheap, very comfortable, hot water. Hey, restaurants nearby, very cheap, good restaurants. You know, $4 meals, fill you up. So let's hit the road. By the way, there is an anchor here. We're on top of a hill, pretty far from the ocean. Huge anchor.